Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is Romances with a Fresh Start. I felt like this was very January appropriate. I actually planned on doing it last year, then it got bumped off the schedule, so finally got it in this year. Obviously, new year, a lot of people try and change their life in some way. These are romances where the main character's life is changing either by their choice or by force, but there's a definite change in the air when they meet their love interest. The first one is The Headmaster by Tiffany Reisz. This is one of the most charming, sweet, gothic, perfect academia books I've ever read, and the ending just ripped my heart out and made me cry so much. And in this one, we have a teacher who is moving, and she happens to hear about this school that needs an English teacher, and so she drives to the school and gets hired, and she falls in love with the headmaster, who is the most gentlemanly, polite, very formal man, and I love their banter. It's so sweet. And it's an all-boys school. The boys are teenagers, and there is a ghost or something, a lady in white, that is walking the school that is a mystery. And I just love these characters. I love the students, the headmaster, the main character. Loved all of them so much. I wouldn't even say that everything in this is unexpected, but a lot of it I didn't know quite how she was going to do it, and the how kind of ripped my heart out. So just be aware, you get your heart ripped out and they lived happily ever after at the end, and it's like, what? I'm literally still crying right now. So be aware of that. But I reread it this year. I just really love this book like so much. I think reading it in the fall or winter is perfect, and I can't recommend it enough. You should really read it. I will say there are some content warnings for racism and homophobia. However, that's not from the main characters or anything, so just be aware. Then I have Romancing the Duke, which is Castles Ever After, #1 by Tessa, a historical romance, I know. This one, the main character inherits a castle. She gets a castle, and so she goes to the castle, and there's already somebody living in it. That guy he's blind, and he has everything kind of mapped out, paced out to where he knows where everything is in the castle, and he's such a huge grump. And she is so sweet, and their banter and them butting heads is great. Tessa is probably one of my very favorite historical romance authors. I think she's a great place to start if you aren't used to reading historical romance. Her writing is very enjoyable, lighthearted banter comedy. I really love it. Then I have The Gamble, which is Colorado Mountain, #1 by Kristen. In this one, the main character is taking a trip without her fiance to just kind of decide if she wants to stay engaged to said fiance. She is an American living in England, and she goes to this cabin that she rented, and turns out the owner is there. The cabin should have never been rented. The third party messed up, and he's like, look, I'm home, you can't be here, sorry about your dream vacation, but you're gonna have to go to a hotel down the mountain. She is not feeling well and does that, but crashes on the way. He calls down, she never made it to the hotel. He goes and finds her and takes care of her while she's sick for several days, and they're in the cabin together, so that's their meeting. And then he is just like, look, you've been sick for days, your fiance hasn't called, why isn't he here? I'm not happy about this. If you were my woman, there is no way that I would not be checking on you, and there's no way you'd be here without me anyways, because we'd be together. And so he is very into her. There are some serious content warnings for this, including suicide, attempted suicide, rape, and PTSD. So quite a few issues. All of those are kind of the side characters issues, but very heavy on page prevalent. If that's gonna bother you, don't read it because it's kind of jarring. And then it's her saying up her life in the Colorado mountains with this mountain man, Alpha. I love this couple. They're one of my favorite Kristen Ashley couples. There is a mystery going on, and it's kind of funny because when I reread it, I didn't remember the mystery, so I was completely surprised again, which I thought was funny. But and then her fiance shows up and her dad shows up, and they're the worst, and it's great. There's so many showdowns. Just, I love it. I really love this one. Perfect for winter, blizzard, snowed in, all of that. But yeah, completely ups and moves and starts a fresh life that was supposed to be a vacation. Then I had The Blue Castle by Montgomery. This is one of my all-time favorite books. It was written 100 years ago, so there might be a few issues in there. Also, there's obviously no sex on page or anything like that because, again, written 100 years ago. But we have Valancy, which is one of my all-time favorite character names, and she is 29 and realizes that she has been so afraid of her family and everybody's opinions that she has not lived her life. And she finds out that she has 1 year to live. And she's like, well, I've literally always been afraid of growing old and being poor and this endless thing stretching out in front of me. Now I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to do what I want. And what she wants is quite a few things. And also she starts saying all the things that she always thought in her head. And it's great. Her standing up to her family, great. But there's a girl who had a baby out of wedlock. The baby died and she has been slowly fading of like consumption and stuff, maybe. And nobody is taking care of her because of her dad is kind of like the town drunk. So Valancy goes and takes care of her and lives with her, outrages her very stuck up, very prissy family, and they are trying to figure out how to get Valancy back without more drama and everything, and it's great. And Valancy falls for the kind of the recluse of the town that everyone is sure is a murderer or a robber or something. And she falls for him and they have a lovely romance. And does everything in this book get wrapped up with a nice tidy bow in a very unrealistic way? Yes. Do I absolutely love that about it? Yeah, I do. And again, I love Ellen Montgomery's writing. I always have. This is my personal favorite of hers. And it's really about a girl completely changing her life and finding happiness, and I love that. Lastly, I have Give the Life Chloe Brown. This is the first in the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. Chloe has fibromyalgia as well as some other health issues, and she has a near-death experience and decides to change her life. She's just, again, living with her parents, playing it safe, and so she gets an apartment and stuff. Obviously, with chronic illness, she can't always do everything for herself, so some of it's a struggle, but she ends up having a romance with the kind of like manager for the apartments, and he gets along with everybody. He has a cinnamon roll. She gets along with everybody. She's very sweet, and they don't get along at all at the beginning, and then they really have so much lovely banter. I really like Talia Hibbert's writing, and there is kind of an unnecessary, in my opinion, third act breakup in this. However, they just are so sweet to each other, and I love the writing, the banter, the conversations, the family. Love Chloe's family, and I think it's a really, really sweet one. Obviously, it's pretty booktube famous, but if you haven't read it yet, it is worth the hype. It is a fun time. So that's it. Those are my romances with a fresh start. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm excited to be back in the rec videos, and I have a couple more end of year, beginning of year type content videos going up this month, but I have lots of other fun things planned, and I'm happy to be back in a rec video. So subscribe if you haven't, comment if you like anything, like the video if you want more people to see it via YouTube, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks for being here. Bye.